Let's talk about Hitler.
That'll make sense later.
I'm immaculately conceived.
I don't know what to do.
I swear I'm not stupid.
Take it or leave it. Sometimes you just want to leave it.
If I gotta borrow my mom's underwear, I'm borrowing her underwear.
You just, yeah.
Misa likes the Jar Jar Binks.
I'm not gonna edit it out.
Oh no.
I don't know. Like, I think I'm just pretty great. Just staying on the
Sucks to
planet.
suck.
Why are you saying it with a question mark?
Clap, bitch.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Action.
And we're live. I'm Anna.
And I'm Jessica.
And this is Why Are You Yelling? Welcome back to another F1 race review. Today we're talking about round 22 of the 2025 Formula One season. We're reviewing Viva Las Vegas. The Las Vegas
Thank
Grand
you.
Prix.
Thank you very much. Man, we've been here a minute and y'all don't even get to see none of it.
All of it's cut.
Do you like our sign?
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's get into
We'll talk about the podium real quick.
yeah.
So this might sound confusing to people who watch the race and don't keep up with any race drama afterwards. But our actual podium for Vegas was Max Verstappen, George Russell, and Kimi Antonelli. Now, for those who are confused, which I'm sure you're really not, the McLarens were disqualified after the race for their skid plates. Womp, 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 which explains why Lando was so depressed.
Yeah, so
He must have known it was fixing to happen.
the hammer was coming down.
He was just like not happy. I was like, wow, he looks really sad despite being in a car with Terry Crews
Yeah.
and has his trophy, and the energy was gone. And now it makes sense.
For those who don't know, both McLarens were disqualified after the race because they failed the inspection during the scrutineering process. So basically, once the race is done, all the cars are parked up. It's called parc ferme. And no one is allowed to touch the car except for the FIA representatives who are doing the scrutineering. They're inspecting the cars to make sure that they meet certain technical regulations. And one of those things that they measure during the scrutineering process is the skid plate. The skid plate is a plank that is affixed to the bottom of every F1 car. It's made of, what'd you say? It was
Titanium alloy. So it's metal.
Yeah. So basically, it's a piece of metal. It's a certain thickness, and it is there to make sure that the cars there's like a minimum height requirement that they have to be off the ground. And so if the cars are generating too much downforce, or if the cars are set up to be too low to the ground, basically that skid plate is going to wear because it's as the name says, skidding on the track. And so sometimes if you see sparks coming up off the bottom of the cars or behind them, it could be the skid plate hitting the ground. And so there's a certain amount of wear and tear that's allowed on the skid plate, but it can't exceed a certain threshold, which is 9 millimeters. So the skid plate over the whole thing, every part of the skid plate has to be 9 millimeters thick. It could be a little more worn on certain corners or certain sides than others. But basically, if any part of the skid plate is below 9 millimeters, then the car can be disqualified. That happened to both McLarens, which basically means that either they fixed the car to ride too low, or there was more downforce generated on that track than they were expecting for whatever reason. Could be temperature related, could be tire related. There's so many things that could affect it. But basically, they were disqualified because and it's not the driver's fault. This is solely the fault of the engineers and the people that are responsible for making these sorts of calculations on the McLaren team.
Yeah.
Because make no mistake, they have so much data about these cars and these tracks and how they work that they do calculations, even like when it comes down to how much fuel they put in the car.
Yeah.
They calculate how much they can get away with or the least amount of fuel possible to make it through the race but not add too much weight. Like all that stuff is calculated. So like they just failed in their calculations. There's something they did wrong.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't have a lot of data to really pull from anyway because some of the practice, like one of the practice sessions was basically ruined from the rain. And so, and then qualify. Yeah, I mean, there was just a lot of like data issues, I think, getting.
And this is only the third year they've run this track.
Yeah.
So there's not even like historical data that they can pull from. But yeah, so basically they just failed that inspection. And so both McLaren drivers were disqualified from the race, which really sucks for them because that is a massive points haul that they just lost.
Oh, yeah.
And it doesn't affect, obviously, the constructor standings because McLaren already, squared that away several races ago.
Yes, yeah.
But it is a massive loss in points for both McLaren drivers in the Drivers' Championship, which we can talk about the standings for the driver standings.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. I didn't know Max and Oscar are tied.
Yeah. I was like, what is this face? Yeah.
Girl.
Is juicy.
Girl. Oh my God, that's actually nuts.
Literally.
I didn't know he was like tied. I just knew he was like closer. I haven't been on my phone that much. So I'm like, what? Okay. So driver standing wise, they've actually stayed the same. Like at least our top drivers. We've only had some movement so we've had Isaac Hadjar, he moves up to 9th. Carlos Sainz moves up to 11th, and Esteban Ocon moves to 15th. And in the constructor standings, the only movement that's happened is Haas has overtaken Aston Martin for 7th. But yeah, so in our top drivers, nothing's changed, but
the order hasn't
changed. Besides, Max Verstappen is now tied with Oscar, but he's still 3rd, 4 now.
Yeah, so we've got, what is it, a 24-point gap?
Yeah, 24 points.
Which literally means that if Oscar were to DNF the next race for whatever reason, DNF, DSQ the next race, if he doesn't get any points in the next race, if Oscar or Max win, they would then pull ahead in the Drivers' Championship and be ahead of Lando. And there's only 2 races left.
I think you said Oscar and you meant Lando doesn't finish, right?
I don't know. Y'all know what I meant.
The point is this. Max or Oscar, potentially next race, because it's also a sprint race weekend. So we have the sprint race and the main race. So, I mean, for all we know, we're going to have Max Verstappen number 1.
I mean, they're within striking distance.
It's crazy. But honestly, if I'm Oscar, bro, like Lando has a little bit of a cushion because he's going to have to like DNF again. I mean, if he can just stay in some points, he'll probably for the most part be okay.
He just has to finish ahead of those 2.
He doesn't even have to finish ahead. Max could still get 21, like however many points if he wins, but if he's 2nd or 3rd, he's still ahead.
I'm just saying.
I just mean like there's Oscar being tied now. Like I have to finish in front of him. Lando could finish 2nd or 3rd and he'd be okay. Oscar, though, now has to finish ahead of Max or he's never going to be ahead of him. Now, like, next race is going to decide who's going to be ahead.
So if you're a driver in 2nd, tied for 2nd place, basically, if that driver overtakes you in points and you're now 3rd, do you even care? Like, in terms of, like, your goal is to win the Drivers' Championship. Do you care about preserving your 2nd place finish? Or is 2nd and 3rd the same? Like, unless you have contract incentives or something to make more money for how you finish.
Well, yeah,
do you know what I
there's
mean?
Probably contract incentives. I mean, I would rather finish 2nd than 3rd.
Yeah, but
I want to finish ahead of who I can finish ahead of. So it's like,
yeah,
I'm never going to be like.
But you're not going to be like truly satisfied until you win it all. Because I mean, the drivers have said themselves, like, when you've won, when you get the taste of winning, finishing on the podium doesn't taste as good. Like, just finishing on the podium, it's like, no, I'm fighting for wins now, and I'm not going to be satisfied with coming in just on the podium.
That's so much pressure.
Yeah. That's, like, the mental toll that it would be fucking with me so hard. Like, my mind.
Oh, we're matching. So we didn't even talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
Has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but I saw your hair and I was like, red. Oh, I'm red.
I was like, that came out of nowhere, but yes, we are matching.
Yeah, so that's a present to Anna that I got her. I went to Orlando and they have like this thing in Disney Springs and it's like a Coke store and now we match. So that's that story.
I love this sweatshirt.
It's super comfy. But anyway, that race was nuts. First of all, okay, we're going to get into fun facts, yada, yada. Here's the thing. So I felt like that fountain show. I don't care if it was live or not. I don't care. Like people, I don't care. They're like, first of all,
live or not.
Who? They're lying to you. That's so who gives a shit? It's not that deep. I don't care if it was live. What I cared about is how freaking long it was.
So after the race concluded, normally it's maybe about like 15, 20 minutes between the end of the race and when they do the podium ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
This was somewhere in like the 30 to 45 minute range because after they won, instead of going to like a cool down room, they did like the cool down car.
That was fun.
Which I enjoyed. It was a pink Lego Cadillac.
The audio was jacked up though. You noticed it was out of sync?
Yeah.
That was annoying to me.
Yeah. And then we had Terry Crews driving as the chauffeur. I loved it. Like, they had the fun sunglasses and then the little Lego figurines. And Max was like,
he was just
I think we need a song. And Terry was like, I got you.
He knew. But it was cool to see Terry back because he also was there last year and he was interviewing Max when he won the Drivers' Championship last year. So I'm like, oh, he's like a fan.
Oh,
he like Crews loves F1.
Is so into F1. Yeah. And he even last year, like, he talked about his experience getting to be a part of like F1 TV and doing the interview after the race and stuff like that. And he's like, I'm going to try to go to as many races as I possibly can, even if I'm not like working at one. I want to like just being in the environment and he's like, I should want to go. And I really appreciate people who are like enthusiastic.
That would be us.
And like a fan coming a little bit more from like a fan perspective as opposed to strictly like I'm a journalist.
Did you see Travis Scott? He was there and he was like, Max. He was us. He was like, that's Max, Super Max. He was like, loved it. And I was like, yep.
I saw Beyonce and Jay-Z were there.
Yeah. That was great. Don't come for me. No, it wasn't that. It wasn't that. I always get jealous at Vegas. However, this has nothing to do with F1 and you're more than welcome. It doesn't. So you know Nina Dobrev and Shaun White broke up.
Yes.
If you don't know who that is, The Vampire Diaries, the lead actress, that's Nina Dobrev. Shaun White is a Olympic snowboarder. Like amazing snowboarder, like literally
like
Olympic,
gold medalist, like great.
They broke up.
And
so we were all curious who was going to get Lewis Hamilton in the divorce. Nina did. That's all I cared about.
Because they were like friendly.
Oh, she's really good friends with Lewis. Like really good. But I guess Shaun was too. And I'm like, who got him in the divorce? Our girl. Anyway, it's just filled with celebrities and it's fun to see them. But what I'm glad, though, is they could have cut to them all the time. They didn't. I'm so glad whoever, they got the message.
Yeah.
We were like, bro, quit showing. If there's cars racing, I want to see that.
You know, who else was there was Cynthia Erivo. She plays Elphaba in Wicked. She was there. She was a guest of, I guess, Williams. She went and she did like a hot lap. And then she went and sat in like Carlos's car, and then she got to meet and talk to Alex.
Yeah.
Which Alex Albon, it was so funny like to see him be like nervous to meet a celebrity because he was a little bit like just word vomit at her, but in the most endearing way. It was just like, oh, he's just like us because he's like, I've seen the movie. Went saw with my girlfriend. It was great. We loved it. And Cynthia was like, oh, thank you.
That was funny. They were asking Charles and Lewis in one of the interviews, like, who's somebody that you'd meet that you'd go, oh my God. And Lewis was like, well, the other day I was somewhere and I saw Cypress Hill and I wanted so badly to walk. Do you know who Cypress Hill is? Insane in the Membrane.
Oh, okay.
Insane. That's Cypress Hill.
I know that song.
And so he's like, I saw them. And then I was too nervous to go say hi. And I was like, you're Lewis fucking Hamilton.
Literally.
Do you have to be nervous to meet anybody? But then I'm like, wait. To me, all these F1 drivers are huge celebrities.
Yeah.
But to be honest, especially Lewis. And I'm like,
people outside of F1 have
know who he is
or have recognized the name.
And I'm like, do you have to be nervous to meet anybody? I guess so.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Because there's a chance they might not know that you're anybody worth knowing. There's a chance. There's always that chance. You never want to assume people know who you are. Because then you just
I would never
then
assume
you look
that.
like a douche.
Well, but yeah, it was nuts. Mickey did this really great fountain thing.
So it was after, so they drove around pretty much the whole track in that pink Cadillac.
Yeah, like a Lego car.
Like a Lego Cadillac car, which I thought was fun.
It was fun.
And then they dropped the drivers off. And then we just get to see the Bellagio fountain conducted by Mickey Mouse with a song. And it was it was like way too long.
Guys, listen.
It's fun. I get it. But there were so many like brand partnership integrations with Las Vegas.
Yeah. Well, I know F1 and Disney have a partnership. So I'm assuming, I hope to God we don't have to do that every year. As an American, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All the other people who had to watch this,
know that Americans didn't like it either.
Texas is like what we're like, yeah.
That's
that
more,
one's like, yeah, USA.
That's more representative of us
and
our relationship with F1 as opposed to like Miami or Las Vegas. Those are more like party vibes centric.
Yeah, and I'm just like, they're fine.
Yeah.
But I could have lived without that. Every time I thought it was over, it didn't end.
Yeah.
And then the post-race interview with DC and that actor was kind of awkward.
Yeah, so the actor, which I texted you about this, that actor, I think he was in Avatar. And he wasn't like a great interviewer, but he's also an actor. He's not like a presenter
I'm pretty sure
or
they were
journalist.
feeding him questions. They had to have been in his
Oh,
ear.
yeah, which is like fine. But the way he was standing and holding that microphone, he was the most limp wrist motherfucker I've ever seen with a microphone. And it drove me insane in the membrane.
No, literally what drove me nuts, it was the limp wrist. And then he was talking to Max and he literally mid-sentence just turns and talks to Lando. And I'm like, this was so weird.
Yeah. It was just, I was
it
like,
was so awkward.
I was like, that was it felt like a random choice for a celebrity to be there.
Yeah, I kind of am just like, y'all, there's just let somebody who likes Formula One do it. There's
Terry
so many
Crews.
They just let him do it again.
I'd rather somebody who's like enthusiastic and knowledgeable.
Exactly. Like as a fan, like if you're following it, like you don't need to be fed questions.
Literally.
Anyway,
and I mean, I'm sure that guy did the best that he could in that moment or whatever, but I'm like, bro, the limp wrist, just with the microphone. I'm like, hold it up, bitch.
hold it with your chest.
You should do some like wrist workouts to get that thing stronger. It was just not great.
No.
But yeah, it was entirely too long between when they finished the race and actually got to the podium.
It was insane.
And did that whole celebration. But yeah, it was there. Yeah, like I think I mentioned there was a lot of brand activation and stuff around F1 Las Vegas, which they typically, I feel like, the past 3 years have made Las Vegas a bigger deal than like other races. There's just a lot more extra stuff going on. But they had, the Lego car and they announced F1 Academy's partnership with Lego.
I'm like, not this episode. Wrong episode.
I know, but like they had the Lego activation. Hello Kitty was there.
For F1 Academy still.
Yeah, but she was still there hanging out around the paddock.
Mickey and Minnie were there.
Yeah, Mickey and Minnie. The Disney
they hung out
stuff.
with Alpine. There was a video of that. That was cute. Oh. But yeah, Disney, they're doing like a Disney F1 thing. Sorry. They're doing like that Disney F1 thing. Mm-hmm. It just was like a lot. It was a lot.
Yeah.
But it was nuts.
Mm-hmm.
That was crazy.
So we can get into our fun facts.
Fun facts.
Max Verstappen's winning margin of 20.741 seconds is the largest in Las Vegas Grand Prix history. It was Max's 8th victory in the United States. He's had 4 in Austin, 2 in Miami, and now 2 in Las Vegas. It was also his 69th win of his career. It was his 125th career podium finish in 231 starts.
Wow.
And his win came in the 150th Grand Prix of the Red Bull Honda collaboration.
Cool.
Which is now ending.
Yeah. It's done
This
now.
is the last year of that.
Yeah.
This was Max's 8th consecutive podium finish this season, the 3rd longest streak of his career. Max's victory ended a streak of 7 consecutive Grand Prix won from pole position.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. In case you didn't know, he didn't have pole position. He just inherited it immediately.
Literally. Okay, so let's just talk about the Max Verstappen of it all. I mean, Lando tried to pull a move. Lando qualified P1. He tried to do something, and it just did not work. I don't know what he was trying to do.
He went to block him, but then over
darted way hard cut across to try and block Max.
Then understeered like crazy.
And didn't brake soon enough. So he went Max. And as soon as he cuts in front of Max, Max is like, I'm just gonna go out here around. And then Lando misses the corner and goes off track. And then Max is like, boop.
Yeah, he didn't brake. I mean, their tires have not heated up. He has no grip yet. He misses the braking and it just goes way too wide.
Yeah.
Then he's under. It's bad.
He was trying to go for a move, and bless him for trying. But I think it was DC on the F1 TV commentary said he tried to pull a Max Verstappen move. He tried to play Max Verstappen's game, and he didn't even know the rules of the game. So
yeah, something that was
yeah, and they asked Max about that moment in the post-race press conference. And Max, in the nicest sort of way that he could, tried to basically be like, yeah, Lando just didn't pull it off. But he didn't exactly say that. He was like, oh, well, it's, it was a bold move kind of thing. And, the track was slippery from the rain.
Yeah.
And the temperature, it was cold. So the temperature of the tires wouldn't quite right. And, it's hard to judge that breaking point. And sometimes you just misjudge it. And I guess that's what happened. He was trying to be as nice as they possibly could without outright saying like Lando just bottled the start.
Yeah.
And attempted a move that he
had no business trying.
Had no business trying to do.
He had no business trying to do all that.
Yeah.
Max was like, for once, I literally didn't. All I did was exist, and you know what? See ya.
And it was literally Lando just making a mistake, and Max is like, "Okay, it's mine now."
He's like, "Bye."
And that was all she wrote for Max winning this one. And it's just another thing that it goes further to the point that if Max is within striking distance, he's dangerous.
He just made. He didn't even do nothing.
I know.
He literally just took off. Like the start just happened. He didn't like. He literally didn't do anything.
He didn't even pull a move.
Just being near, like Max just being near you, just tripped him up.
It's like you just start. Max is in your mirrors, and you start acting a little funny, and yeah. So speaking of Mr. Lando Norris, prior to his team's disqualification, P2 for McLaren's Lando Norris would have been his 18th podium finish in 22 Grand Prix this season.
Wow.
It would also have been McLaren's first podium finish in Las Vegas since John Watson in 1982.
Wow.
Lando has lost the lead on the first lap in exactly half of all his starts from pole. So in 8 out of 16, he's lost the lead.
Well,
that's
50-50 shot.
Yeah, that's I think his starts have gotten better since last season because he was very heavily criticized last season for bottling the start when he had pole.
Yeah.
He's gotten better.
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
but he's still got more work to do.
Yeah, and to be fair, Lando had like 2 flawless weekends before this. I mean, he was just doing great, and
yes, that is fair.
Then he didn't. So,
but he also said heading into this weekend, McLaren has historically just not done well at Las Vegas. So the prior 2 seasons that they raced there,
yeah,
he said we just didn't do good, and I don't know that we should expect to be great. And lo and behold.
Well, I mean, they could have, but he jacked it up. But then, I mean, even if he would have won, he would have been disqualified anyway. So he was kind of screwed no matter what.
Yeah.
Historically.
And if they had done something to change the setup of the car to mitigate the plank wear, if they had done the calculations correctly or were aware that something could affect it, then who's to say that the car would have been as fast as it was in like qualifying?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that for a fact it affects the driver. I mean, we can even go all the way back to China. Lewis performed great, and then it was too low. And I just think ever since then, I mean, the car's not right. They can't get it. They can't figure out how to set it up. So I'm like, that it definitely matters.
Yeah. So the last fun fact for Lando Norris is that he leads the Drivers' Championship by 24 points, as we mentioned earlier.
Yeah, for now.
So our actual P2 for George Russell, driving for Mercedes, this was his 9th podium finish of the season. George Russell is now guaranteed to finish 4th in the Drivers' Championship.
Okay.
Matching his career best season, Norris and Russell both reached 150 career Grand Prix starts this weekend.
Oh, twins.
Yep.
George Russell just there.
He just kind of is always
that meme. I'll be there.
It seems like he's always just in the perfect position that if shit goes south for someone else, he's just kind of waiting to swoop in and pick up the bits that he can.
Yeah. Yabba dabba doo.
I mean, he's always just right there. So, and again, he is somebody
the Joe Biden effect. That's what they call it in New Girl. If you just hang around long enough, it'll be you.
Yeah.
in the right spot.
Which we said since the beginning of the season, George Russell is a dark horse. He's one of the drivers that people don't talk enough about in terms of like his potential for winning a world championship.
100% will.
He's a dark horse, and he is severely underrated.
I think we talked about Charles and Max, and if they had cars, how fun that would be. I actually think it would, like, George and Max battling each other,
like in the same car.
I mean, whether it's like a Lewis Max situation where they both have a car they're performing well in and they're battling each other for a championship.
Oh, it would be.
I think that would be just
bloodthirsty sharks in the water. We're going for the throat.
Because yes. Yeah, I think that would be very entertaining.
Even in I feel like Lando and Max are friendly. I don't know what my voice just did. I know. Fucking Chewbacca over here.
You just kept going too, and I was like, we can't. This must be addressed.
I think that Lando and Max are friendly and friends enough that yes, they're both still going to go for it on the track, but away from that, in the press, stuff like that, they're a little more considerate of each other. They're not trying to be mean and antagonistic toward each other. I think that Max and George will be going for each other's necks.
100%.
Like going
in and out the press, in and out the car.
Exactly. And I'm here for it. There's something to be said for the people who complain that the drivers are all too friendly and too nice to each other now. I agree a little bit. I like a little bit of a cutthroat rivalry. I think it's healthy in sports. I think it's good to have very strong, not just, rivalries, not the, when we're on the track, we're all battling, but off the track, we can be friends. I'm like, that's fine. That's fine. But I need like one or two, like, foot on your neck, I don't with you rivalries.
I agree. I just want
bring it back.
A little bit of mean.
Our other McLaren driver, Oscar Piastri, finished off podium for the 6th consecutive Grand Prix.
Whoa. It's been that long?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
No podiums for 6 straight races. And he obviously was also disqualified because of the plank wear on his car, as we mentioned earlier. And we also mentioned earlier, Oscar Piastri and Max Verstappen now trail Lando Norris by 24 points in the Drivers' Championship.
That's insane.
Yeah. Mercedes driver Kimi Antonelli completed the final 48 laps on a single set of hard tires en route to P3, which was an inherited P3. Before the McLaren disqualification, he crossed the line P5. And then once the McLarens were disqualified, he finished on the podium.
No, that was exciting. Yeah, and then there was a really funny video they put out where it's like, when you're too young for the club, when you have a podium and you're too young for the club, so you got to bring the club to you, and it's just like Mercedes trying to like party
in the garage. They've got like a Bluetooth speaker.
Yeah, it was cute.
And yeah, Kimi did start from 17th on the grid and battled all the way up to 5th, eventually inheriting P3. And that final stint on the 48 laps on a single set of tires.
But the hard was the tire.
Yeah.
It was the tire. Ugh.
Yes.
That medium sucked.
It did indeed. So and the rest of these, a lot of the rest of these finishes for these drivers that we're going to talk about, a lot of them have changed since the McLaren disqualification versus like what they crossed the line as. So this is all going to be the inherited and the final finishing position for everybody after the McLarens have been disqualified.
Okay.
Just a clarification.
Just to let you know.
With a P5 finish, Carlos Sainz scored Williams' first Grand Prix points since Singapore.
Wow. Carlos did really good.
Yeah, he certainly did. I'm trying to remember. I feel like he talked about like things were just going well for him. Things were not going well for Alex Albon.
No.
We can go ahead and talk about him. So he did not finish for the 4th time this year. He had a radio malfunction. So he didn't have a working radio for the entire race.
You're allowed to have that?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, he did.
I feel like safety-wise. Because like how...
Well, they have the boards. Those physical boards that they hang outside the pit wall. So they can relay messages. But yeah, he just didn't have a working radio. So even when he was like trying to do the pit stop, like he just kind of had to go in, I guess, when he wanted to go in. I saw a clip of Lance Stroll talking about that it was in 2023. He had a similar situation where he didn't have radio for the whole race. And they were trying to ask him like, and he actually had a really good drive that race. I think he ended up finishing P5. And he said like, yeah, that was one of like the best drives of my career, but I just didn't have a radio. So he's like, I kind of had to just figure out like my own strategy because like what we had planned before the race wasn't quite what was happening and playing out. And so he's like, I was kind of having to take all that into account and figure out he's like, I knew loosely what the window was to stop. And he's like, I had to figure out how to tell them I was coming into the pits. And so he's like, I remembered I had a visor camera on my helmet. And so he's like, I was kind of like waving my hand in front of it hoping they would see and know. And he was able to, make his pit stop and everything and still finish P5. But that was not the case for Alex Albon in Las Vegas this year. When he came in for his pit stop, he had some front wing damage and they didn't fix it, which I feel like they should have known that he had front wing damage if they were looking at the data from the car, even if they couldn't communicate directly with him. And there's onboard footage. You can see him in the pit lane, like they changed the tires and he just sits there and he's like pointing to the front wing and nothing's happening. and they didn't do anything to fix it. So I guess he's like, okay, I'll have to go, I guess. And
Bizarre.
so he, didn't finish. And that just really was awful. That just completely screwed him.
Mm-hmm.
So, mixed bag for Williams this weekend.
Not great. Carlos did good, though.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's, when you look back at when Carlos was talking about how William, like him in particular for Williams, had been so unlucky for so many races that everything was there for them to do well. Like they just had so many things that didn't go their way. And I'm like, some of that bad luck is rubbing off on Alex now.
Bless.
Yeah. Bless his heart.
I know.
He got so nervous meeting Cynthia Erivo. It just messed him all the way up. Affected his radio.
Lord.
So moving on to Isaac Hadjar finishing P6 for Racing Bulls. That was the team's best ever finish in Las Vegas.
Yeah, he did really, really well.
Mm-hmm. And then P7 for Kick Sauber's Nico Hülkenberg was his 8th Grand Prix points finish of the season. Nico. Sorry. The result brought Sauber their first ever points in Las Vegas.
Go, Nico!
Yeah. I'm like, we don't got much to say about those two other than good job.
Yeah. They just did good. They did their race. They did well, and it was great. Yeah. I mean, Isaac, he was in the points for the most part. He was chasing Carlos, and then that's pretty much it. And then eventually faster cars got it in between him. So, but he did really, I mean, him and Nico did well.
Lewis Hamilton scored points for Ferrari from the last row of the grid.
He was not happy.
Yeah, and that was an inherited scoring points.
No, he finished P10.
Was it? Oh, okay.
And then he inherited.
And then he inherited. He would have been P8. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Okay. So Lewis had a really crappy weekend. His qualifying session was non-existent.
No, and there was some chatter online about the communication of apparently when he thought he was in, and then I don't know, communication, because apparently he ended up aborting a lap. He did the fastest first sector in, and then he didn't think he had to do it, so he aborted the lap, and then he didn't make it. So, just communication. And then he still wasn't happy this race because he was like, I don't understand. Like he's like, why is Kimi ahead of me? He didn't say Kimi, but that's what he's getting at. Like, how else is he so far ahead of me? Like, what has happened? Like, I don't understand what has happened. And he's very outwardly frustrated.
Yeah.
Very, very upset.
Yeah.
Even though, I mean, he got in the points, but you're Lewis Hamilton. It's not good enough.
At this point,
to himself.
Yeah. At this point with Ferrari, it's like, okay, what do we have to do? Like in terms of what's got to change? What's got to be, because it's clearly, I don't think it's a driver problem. No. I don't necessarily even think it's a team principal problem. It's like, what about the culture at Ferrari? What about their communication style? There's something there that just isn't working. No. And I don't know if they even know what it is that's not working or how to fix it. Because if they knew how to fix it, surely they would have by now. And our drivers would sound a little more hopeful. Yeah. Because even Charles is like, I have no hope.
No. Like, oh my God, it's just like, and what's so sad, because you can listen to the radio messages, and Lewis tried so hard. He was like, all right, let's go get him. We're going. And he's like, I'm excited. And then he's like, what the fuck just happened? I don't know.
Where did Charles even finish? P4. Okay. He just didn't have any fun facts.
Rude.
I'm like, did we skip
some battles?
I was like, did we skip over her?
Yeah, we didn't talk about him at all.
No, because I remember thinking during the race, Charles is doing pretty good.
He had some battles with Piastri. He was in a DRS train for a while with people. True. I mean, he had some moments, but I guess it was just nothing. I guess he
super noteworthy, I guess, compared to other stuff going on, I suppose.
Sorry, Charles.
Yeah, I mean, good job, P4.
Nice.
We're like, Ferrari sucks. But good job, Charles.
No, it's literally, I mean, the P4, P8, we're like, nope, that sucks. We're just saying how the drivers feel. They're not happy.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, finishing in the points is good, but it's not good enough for what the expectations are for Ferrari and for Ferrari fans. We should be on podiums.
See, you're saying Ferrari fans. I'm just saying Lewis fan. As a Lewis fan, we should be on podiums. But I'm just like,
for a team that has Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc as their two drivers,
100%.
the expectation is that Ferrari should be getting podiums minimum. That is the minimum. We should be winning races, but the minimum expectation is a podium, and we're not getting that.
Yeah, and like you said, I don't think it's a driver problem.
No.
Not at all.
No. Those two drivers are more than capable of winning races,
100%.
as they've done.
Yes.
Of finishing on podiums, as they've done. Of driving other cars well. Occasionally, there's been glimpses of them being able to drive this car well. But that was when they were disqualified in China. So I don't know what to tell you.
It's honestly so depressing. It hurts my heart.
Yep.
It hurts.
It's so hard when you're like trying to be optimistic and there's just nothing to hope for.
Yeah, it's sad.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad. Somebody please send help.
Moving on to more sad news.
Oh, God.
Kick Sauber's Gabriel Bortoleto retired after his involvement in a lap 1 accident with Aston Martin's Lance Stroll for the second consecutive Grand Prix.
That was all Gabby.
He had no business doing what he was doing. I don't know what happened.
And he got a 5-place grid penalty going into Qatar.
He literally just was like, doop.
For once, Lance like, what the heck?
He's like, it wasn't my fault this time.
I didn't do it. That was nuts. I don't even... Well, it was weird because like the camera was obviously focused on like Lando and Max. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, why is Lewis like 13th?
Yeah.
That was where I realized something has happened. Well, I was happy. I was obviously not upset. I was just like, they're not even done with the first lap. And I think Lewis Hamilton is the GOAT, but something happened.
What occurred?
And then they showed it and I was like, what the incarnation?
Yeah, so Lance Stroll went out on the first lap for the 5th time in his F1 career.
That's actually not that many.
Not when he's had that many race starts.
Yeah, I'm like, that's not that many.
I mean, he's been around for a minute. Yeah. Like, I want to say he started around the same time Max did, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I mean, he was with Williams. Then he went to wherever. Wow.
And that is the end of our fun facts.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was pretty short.
Okay.
That's why I was like, we didn't talk about several people, but I guess they just didn't have any fun facts for us.
Yeah, they were just like Mickey Mouse and Max won and McLaren was disqualified. So
I did have one other.
Yeah, you said you took notes.
Yeah, so we talked about most of them. The only one we haven't touched on yet is something I noticed during the F1 TV post-race show.
Okay, I didn't watch it.
So there was a point where Ruth was talking about Ferrari's strategy and how abysmal it was. And in the background, you hear music playing, like from, I guess, the garage of the track. And it was that song, some of them want to use you. Some of them want to abuse you. Some of them want to be abused.
Sweet dreams are made of these.
Yes, that song.
No, I was like, no, we're going to sound dumb. What is it? I was like, okay, got it.
That song was playing in the background. Right as she's talking about Ferrari strategy, it was some of them want to use you, some of them want to abuse you. And I said, you know what? This feels appropriate.
Quit it. Quit abusing them. It is so sad. We've called Charles sad boy before. Yes. So honestly, seeing Charles sad low-key seems like sometimes it's just normal.
It's just sad is our like homeostasis.
But he's got that look though of him too, like that sad model look. Lewis is not meant to be a sad boy. It is so sad and it's so heartbreaking to see. He is meant to be happy.
He's meant to be like a happy, peaceful,
yes,
like I'm just
uplifting. Like you just know, he has great energy. So seeing him just so, I'm like,
he's yellow. If he was a color, he's yellow. He's like sunshine.
Yeah.
And he's just like a very sad, depressing blue.
There's this, I thought of the Halsey song. Loving him, or was it Loving Him? Well, first it was gray. It was blue. Then it was gray later. Anyway, blue. I'm sorry about all of that. So the point is this. Please stop making him sad. It's making me so sad. It's one thing to just go, that's the other part about it. If it was like, he understood why. I think that's the frustration lies in not understanding why. You know, if you're like, yeah, we knew going into it was going to be a kind of a rough race for us. So yeah, I'm really happy with what we accomplished and to keep moving forward. Like, that's one thing. This is not that. This is like, what world is this? Why is this happening? Nobody can tell me anything. I keep trying and nothing is changing. I'm over it. And I'm like, oh my God.
It's got to be especially frustrating when it's like, there's nothing I can do. He literally is like, I've done everything I can inside of the car, outside of the car. There's nothing I can do to make a difference. And it's completely outside of my control. And that must be so frustrating.
Yeah. Because we can only speculate what conversations were had when he left his home. I think the only solution is this. Kimi had a great rookie season. Mm-hmm. And now we have to change the age limit up a little bit. And he has to be a reserve driver and Lewis can just go home.
Half the grid then wouldn't be able to be.
That's fine.
A driver because half of them are 18.
They should. I think that's crazy. But I've said that before. That's crazy. I just don't think that should be a thing. I think there should be a series in between F2 and F1. Like super formulas they have in Japan or something. Like that should just be its own series that goes around. There's way too many drivers and there's not enough cars, but there's way too many talented people. And Formula E is still only one other thing. And it's not even like what some people want to do. There just needs to be another one.
What age would you raise it to?
I think 22, 23. Probably.
I like an even number. I like 22.
24. Your frontal lobe should be developed for you get in a Formula 1 car.
26.
And then, people will age out when they're way older.
Yeah.
People won't be aged out at 28. Fernando's like, couldn't be me. Lewis, couldn't be me.
Literally, Max reaching 10 years in Formula 1. And he's like, I'm tired of this.
He goes, I'm going to go do endurance racing. I'm sick of this shit.
I want to do something different.
Yeah, it was depressing for Ferrari fans and Lewis fans. But anyway, it wasn't depressing if you were a Max Verstappen fan, which I also am, because I am a Red Bull person.
Did we talk about this?
I think so. Yeah.
In the last episode?
I feel like we have. Either way, the fact is this. Like I've said, Lewis, I'd say that's my heart driver. That's my person. Mm-hmm. Wherever he is, I'm going to support him number one in that team. But I love Red Bull. So many drivers that I've loved have come from Red Bull. And I just love like the rebelliousness that comes with, I feel like that team has, because they're like, I'm an energy drink and I'm just here to do stuff. Like that's just Red Bull's thing. You know what? We're going to just have someone in space. He's going to drop back to Earth. Like, whatever. Like, that's crazy. Like, Red Bull just does the most random crap, and I love it. Because they're like, I'm going to do whatever I want. But anyway, so since we finished the fun facts and we pretty much talked about everything, we'll get into the rookie report. Mm-hmm. Kimi Antonelli, he qualified 17th. He finished 3rd, so 15 points. Woohoo! Antonelli turned a P17 start into a podium with a huge tire management drive. He started on softs, pitted early for hards under the virtual safety car, and somehow stretched that set all the way to the flag while holding off Piastri and Leclerc, even with DRS. Despite a 5-second penalty for a jump start, he built enough of a gap to only lose one spot on the road, then inherited P3 after the McLarens were disqualified. So Kimi did great. Isaac Hadjar, he qualified 8th. He finished 6th, so 8 points. Hadjar spent most of the race firmly in the points, running as high as P5 and chasing signs before faster cars inevitably came through. With limited long-run data, the team took a cautious approach on tire management, which meant he didn't quite have the pace to defend from Leclerc and Piastri late on. Even so, P6 was a strong finish and a solid reward for the pace he showed all weekend. Because the racing bull did look pretty good all weekend. Like him and Liam going into the weekend looked pretty good. Franco Colapinto, he qualified 15th. He finished 15th. So 0 points.
At least he didn't go backward.
No. Colapinto's race was compromised immediately in the turn 1 chaos when contact from behind damaged his floor and diffuser. From there, he lacked rear grip and balance, and the car felt much worse than it had all weekend. Stuck at the back with a one-stop strategy and a wounded car, he could only nurse it home to P15 on a day where there was really no chance to recover. Ollie Bearman, he qualified 14th. He finished 10th, So 1 point. Behrman had one of the best launches on the grid, jumping into the top 10 and briefly running as high as 7th. As the race settled, he struggled for rhythm and pace in the low-speed sections, losing ground over his first stint before feeling more comfortable on the hard tire. Initially, just outside the points, he was promoted to P10 when both McLarens were disqualified, grabbing a point from a tricky night. So, thank you, McLaren. If Haas is like, thank you very much. Yeah. Gabriel Bortoleto, he qualified 18th. He did not finish the race, so he has a DNF. So 0 points. Yeah. Bortoleto's race ended almost as soon as it began. He came into turn 1 too hot, locked up, and slid into Stroll, damaging his own car in the process. After limping around for a couple of laps, the team retired him with too much damage to continue. It marks his second DNF in a row, plus a 5-place grid penalty for Qatar. Yeah, not to mention, I mean, he also, well, no, he didn't get a DNF in the sprint race because he finished most of it in Brazil. But yeah, he wrecked in that one, though. So, I mean, not great.
Get wrecked.
Liam Lawson, he qualified 6th and he finished 14th. So 0 points.
Liam.
So
you're like, move it down.
I'm going to tell you
what happened.
Don't worry. Liam Lawson's race was effectively over at turn 1 as well. Avoiding Russell's lockup, he slid into Piastri and damaged his front wing, forcing an early stop and dropping him to the back. With a few retirements and a straightforward one-stop race, there wasn't a path back into the points, and he had to settle for P14. So, George Russell, you got a new op. Because Liam don't make friends on track.
Nope.
Fernando Alonso, our favorite rookie. He qualified 7th. He finished 11th, so 0 points. Alonso was caught in the first corner chaos that eliminated Stroll, picked up front wing damage, and dropped down the order. He then spent most of the race hovering around the edge of the top 10, but as the race unfolded, the cars that had started on the hards, they started to close in on him, and then Ocon undercut him to jump ahead. So with Aston Martin lacking straight line speed and overall pace, he finished P11, just outside the points, after a difficult night. So with that, we can go into our best and worst segment, which I still haven't even picked, so I'm just going to have to wing it as we go.
My driver of the day is Kimi Antonelli. He
good.
went from P17 to eventually P3, but crossed the line at P5. Just did a stellar last stint on the hard tires, like we mentioned earlier, was just very impressive. All the positions he was able to make up. So good job for Kimi.
Yeah, no, Kimi did great, but I can't pick him since you did.
You can pick whoever you want. You're like, no, it has to be different. I'm like, who are our top finishers? Let's look.
I would say that Isaac Hadjar is my driver of the day just because he did really well the whole time. He was consistent the whole time. I mean, the Racing Bull car over the weekend looked really good. And so I think he just had a really solid race and has once again just showed that consistency. And I mean, maybe nothing flashy happened for him, but it's just the fact that he was pretty much there the whole time. Mm-hmm. So I think he had a great weekend. So I would say he's my driver of the day. And my biggest letdown.
My biggest letdown was Lando Norris.
Oh, yeah.
With the, not just the disqualification, which I would argue that's not his fault.
No.
But just his awful start.
Yeah.
Tried to pull off a move that he was not able to accomplish.
No.
And just shot himself in the foot.
I agree
with that. So that's my biggest letdown.
I would agree with that biggest letdown. I'm going to say that not that I even had super high expectations just because of the car, has nothing to do with the driver, but I just think that Gabriel Bortoleto, second weekend in a row, not doing really well, and just kind of disappointed to see that, once again, just more damage to the car, more work the team has to do, and just kind of seems like, for whatever reason, these last few races, I'm like, we need to chill. I know like the time before, maybe that was strolling him, but I mean, in the sprint, it just feels like, all right, let's reel it back in. You were not in contention for, there's some risks you don't have to take because the reward is, there is no reward, really. Mm-hmm. You're not even in the points.
Yeah.
So, just...
You're doing more harm than good by trying to pull off something risky or not being cautious enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I fully agree. I mean, it's a similar scenario as I can think back to other drivers who have done unnecessary damage to their cars throughout the course of a season. I mean, we're talking Logan Sargent, we're talking Nick DeVries when they were both driving for Williams, respectively. It's a case of like, okay, this can't become a pattern. It's starting to get there. It's like once is an
Did he
accident.
drive for Williams? Nick DeVries?
He replaced Logan. I'm not crazy, am I?
No, Franco Colapinto replaced.
Hold
no,
on.
Nick DeVries replaced. He was Red Bull.
No.
Nick DeVries did not replace Logan Sargent. Franco Colapinto did.
Are we sure?
100% sure.
Are you 100% sure?
I am 100%.
Am I crazy?
I am 100% sure that Franco Colapinto replaced Logan Sargent, and that I'm pretty sure Nick DeVries was Red Bull.
Nick DeVries drove for Williams, and he had a debut with Williams in 2022, and he scored points. And then he drove for AlphaTauri in 2023.
Okay.
And was replaced by Daniel Ricciardo 10 races in. He was still damaging the car, though.
Yeah.
I wasn't wrong. He did drive for Williams, but okay. Listen here. Listen here. Who am I? You. There's been lots of drivers over the course of however the couple of years we've been following Formula One. It's hard to keep them all straight.
Yeah. It's hard.
So I said what I said.
That's it. I stand by it. But yeah, so my biggest letdown, Gabby. But that's okay. So we'll get him next. Every time we say something, we're like, this was disappointing. That's okay. You'll get him.
Oh, but I guess my point I was trying to make is that once is an accident/incident, twice is, are we okay? 3 times, this is too much. This is a pattern. You got to stop it right now. Anything after that, you got to go.
Yeah.
You can't just be at the back of the pack throwing your car into other people or into the wall.
Yeah.
Like, I need you to know how to operate a Formula One car if you're going to be in Formula One.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and I think, I know that like with the sprint race, that was just insane in Brazil for Gabby. And then in the GP, I don't think that was his fault. But it's just one of those things, again, where I'm like, this particular instance, I'm like, Gabby, come on.
It's like, let's get it together. It's like, you stop this right now.
Stop it right now. Well, with that, we will get into our next race teaser, which it's going to be round 23 of it's the Formula One Qatar Airways Qatar Grand Prix. Lusail? Okay, Sail. Okay. Lusail International Circuit. So this is a sprint race. So if you need a refresher on a sprint race, essentially what that means is the drivers will have one free practice session. Then they will do a qualifying session for the sprint race which will be the next day. So then after the sprint race, they'll qualify for the main race. So basically there's only one free practice session, and then we're going into a qualifying session for the sprint. Then after the sprint race, we go back into like regular qualifying. So we're just not doing 2 free practice sessions. But you can make changes to the car and things like that after the sprint race as well. So it's not like you can't touch the car or anything.
Yeah. Some teams view the sprint race as just a race, like a long run session, practice session for the main race. Because if you're not in the top 8, you're not scoring points, and even the top 8 don't score that many points in the sprint.
It's 8. The number 1 is 8, and then it just goes down. So
so you're not racing for a ton of points, and so some of them just view it as a more like competitive in race type scenario.
And you don't pit; it's less laps. So just to go over last year's results. The sprint race last year, our podium was Oscar Piastri, Lando Norris, and George Russell. The Grand Prix results were Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc, and Oscar Piastri. So some track stats. The first GP was held in 2021. It is 57 laps long. The circuit length is 5.419 kilometers, which is about 3.34 miles. The race distance is 308.611 kilometers, which is about 191.76 miles. The race lap record is held by Lando Norris, which was set in 2024 at 1 minute and 22.384 seconds. And the qualifying lap record is held by Max Verstappen, which was set in 2024 as well at 1 minute and 20.520 seconds. And it has 1 DRS zone. However, I think Max later something happened. I don't know if he received some sort of penalty later or he had to start back. But that lap is still considered the fastest, even though I think on the grid he didn't take pole. in the race for whatever.
Oh, he may have
purpose.
had like a penalty,
Yeah.
grid penalty or something applied.
He might. Yeah, so I think that's what that was. But it's still
the fastest
the
lap.
fastest lap. So, and it's still because he didn't like do anything in that qualifying session. It still counts like wrong in that qualifying session. So, what is this track like? It is a 16-corner night circuit with long, fast flowing corners that really punish the front tires, especially the left front. The long main straight into turn 1 is the big braking zone and the main action spot. And because it's in the desert, grip starts low and ramps up quickly as the track rubbers in. So the tire compound and the strategy here, we're supposed to be having the C1, the C2, and the C3. So the medium is usually the main race tire. The hard is the safe long stint option, and the soft is more for quali and short burst. So basically how like it typically would be, how you would expect tires to perform. Tire wear is very high here, so a 2-stop race is the expectation, with strategy all about managing that front tire and finding clean air. So it'll be interesting to see. Now, the biggest thing that we care about is, can we overtake here? Yes, mostly down the main straight into turn 1 with DRS. The rest of the lap is so fast and loaded that following closely is tricky, so most moves are set up through the final corner and finish at the end of the straight rather than in the middle sector. So basically, we're going to have like one section that we can expect to see overtaking on. I would argue that can we overtake is just technically yes. Do we expect to see it a lot? Probably not. At least a lot, meaning while we're racing, I'm sure we can expect to see it a lot in that particular section, but it's not one where you're going to see unconventional. Yeah. So, yeah. I didn't even realize that we're in like back-to-back races right now. So I was like, oh, shoot.
Which some drivers have complained about, not even just this year, because it's been a case of literally it's like Las Vegas and then Qatar, where the time zone change is so different that they're like, if we could just have Las Vegas be a standalone, because they're going from Brazil to Vegas to Qatar. And at least from Brazil to Vegas, there was a break in between.
Yeah, I don't really understand why, because they even came to America earlier in the year. Like, I don't understand why there's not just like the R section, even just for traveling purposes. And I know maybe it has to do with just weather, because, you know, we have Canada, Miami, Texas, Vegas, and then we have Mexico and then Brazil. And we're all on this side of the planet. Yeah. And it just kind of feels like sometimes it just doesn't feel well organized, but I also understand it may have to do with the time of year the drivers want to go to those certain tracks. But yeah, it just feels like a lot.
Sometimes it has to do with the weather. Sometimes it has to do with track availability. Yeah. So it kind of just all depends. But yeah, they've complained about like the turnaround between Vegas. Like they basically immediately have to leave Las Vegas to try and get to Qatar or closer to that time zone so they can start adjusting their sleeping patterns.
That feels ridiculous.
Yeah. Because that's two of the biggest challenges for Formula One. One is time zone changes and how quickly they have to adapt, not just the drivers, but everyone on the team that travels with them. And then 2, it's the logistics of shipping the cars and all the stuff that they need to maintain and operate on a race weekend.
Yeah.
Because it's not like the cars don't just magically get there. They have to ship everything.
Yeah.
And so that's sometimes why there's gaps in the calendar too, because they're like, okay, we need enough time to get everything over here to get set up.
That just feels like they could have used another weekend. Like, it feels like you didn't have to, if you were going to have a break, it feels more appropriate to have the break in between Vegas and Qatar than Brazil and Vegas. Like, you should have just not had a break because they're at least that close to each other. Like, they're at least like there's not a whole ocean that separates us. I don't know. But
and for them to do
I'm not a scientist.
For them to do the Las Vegas Grand Prix the weekend before Thanksgiving, like that's a major, like this is like one of the busiest weeks for the city of Las Vegas. So like I don't know, it just feels as an interesting choice.
Yeah.
To interrupt all of that. And maybe it's on purpose. Maybe they intentionally are doing it during one of the busy times in that city. So there's more people there. I don't know. But anyway, well, we will talk at you. We will have we'll be filming an F1 Academy episode soon because we have a lot to talk about with them because their championship finished in Vegas and it was very exciting and emotional and
we have a lot to talk about. So we're going to film that this week. I'll still try to put it out this week as well, just so we can go ahead and get it. But anyway, we will talk at you guys next time. Bye.